Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a topic that's often overlooked but is absolutely critical for a lightning-fast website: DNS optimization. You've probably spent hours optimizing your images, minifying your code, and choosing the right hosting. But what if I told you there's a secret weapon that could give you an even bigger speed boost? That's right, we're talking about the domain name system. So, what exactly is DNS, and why does it matter so much for speed? Think of it like your phone's contact list. When you want to call a friend, you don't dial their number from memory, you just tap on their name. DNS does the same thing for the internet. When you type youtube.com into your browser, DNS is the system that looks up that friendly name and translates it into the server's actual IP address, something like 142.250.190.78. This lookup process, called a DNS query, happens every single time you visit a new website. It's the very first step in loading a page. Now, this lookup might seem instantaneous, but it actually takes time, usually between 20 to 120 milliseconds. That might not sound like a lot, but in the world of web performance, every millisecond counts. If your DNS provider is slow, it creates a delay before your website can even start to load. It's like a runner taking a few seconds to react after the starting gun fires. No matter how fast they run afterwards, they've already lost precious time at the beginning. This initial delay is what we call DNS latency, and it's the invisible speed bump we're going to demolish today. So our first and most fundamental step is to optimize the DNS query response time. The easiest way to do this is by choosing a high-performance DNS provider. The default DNS service provided by your domain registrar is often slow and basic. It's a bit like using the free, flimsy headphones that came with your old phone. They work, but you know there's a much better experience out there. Premium DNS providers, on the other hand, have invested heavily in a global network of servers. This means that when a user tries to access your site, their request is handled by a server geographically close to them, dramatically reducing the travel time for that data and speeding up the lookup. Providers like Cloudflare, Amazon Route 53, or DNS Made Easy are famous for their speed and reliability. Making the switch is often as simple as updating the name server records at your domain registrar, and the performance gains can be immediate and significant. Now, let's talk about a real powerhouse in web performance: the Content Delivery Network, or CDN. Many of you might already use a CDN to serve your images, CSS and JavaScript files from locations closer to your users. But did you know that a good CDN also supercharges your DNS? When you use a CDN provider that also offers DNS services like Cloudflare, you're hitting two birds with one stone. Their DNS infrastructure is inherently part of their massive global network. This means your DNS lookups are resolved on the same high-speed, geographically distributed network that serves your content. It creates a seamless, ultra-fast path from the initial DNS query to the final content delivery. The user's request goes to the nearest CDN edge location, which can often resolve the DNS and start serving content from that same spot. This integration is a game changer, turning a two-step process into one streamlined, lightning-fast operation. Okay, so we've got a fast DNS provider. What's next? The next strategy is to reduce the number of DNS lookups your page has to make in the first place. Think about it. Every time your website needs to load a resource from an new asterisk domain, like a font from Google Fonts, an analytics script from another service, or an icon from a third-party library, the browser has to perform a brand new DNS lookup for each of those host names. Lookup adds another small delay. If your site pulls resources from 5, 6, or even 10 different domains, those milliseconds start to add up, creating a noticeable lag before the page can fully render. So, how do we fight this? The key is consolidation. Try to host as many resources as you can on your own domain or your CDN. For example, instead of linking to Google Fonts directly, you can download the font files and serve them from your own server. This eliminates the need for the browser to look up fonts.googleapis.com. The same goes for third-party scripts or icons. By reducing your site's reliance on external domains, you're cutting down the number of DNS lookups required, which in turn shortens the overall page load time. It's about minimizing the number of errands the browser has to run before it can get to the main task of displaying your content. But what about those times when you absolutely have asterisk to use external resources? We can't always host everything ourselves. This is where a clever browser feature called DNS prefetching comes to the rescue. DNS prefetching is like giving your browser a little hint about what it will need in the future. You're essentially telling the browser, hey, we're probably going to need to connect to this other domain soon. So why don't you do the DNS lookup for it in the background right now while you have some downtime? You can implement this with a simple link tag in the head section of your HTML. For example, if you know your page will load a video from Vimeo, you can add a line that says linkrel equals DNS prefetch, fx equals player.vimeo.com. When the browser sees this, it will quietly perform the DNS lookup for player.vimeo.com in the background. Then when it actually needs to fetch the video player, the IP address is already known and the connection can be made instantly, shaving off that DNS lookup time. It's a proactive approach that anticipates the user's needs, making the browsing experience feel snappier and more responsive. Many modern browsers do this automatically for links on a page, but explicitly adding prefetch tags for critical third-party resources gives you more control and ensures the lookup happens as early as possible. Finally, like any part of your website's performance, DNS is not a set-it-and-forget-it component. You need to monitor it. How do you know if your DNS provider is consistently fast? How can you tell if a change you made had a positive or negative impact? This is where DNS performance monitoring tools come in. Services like Thousand Eyes, Pingdom, or Catchpoint allow you to continuously test your DNS resolution times from various locations all around the world. These tools can alert you if your DNS provider is experiencing an outage or a slowdown in a specific region, allowing you to react quickly. Regular monitoring provides the data you need to make informed decisions. It helps you validate that your premium DNS provider is actually delivering the speed you're paying for, and helps you spot any new, slow third-party domains that might have been added to your site. Keeping an eye on your DNS performance ensures that this foundational layer of your website remains rock solid and lightning fast over time. So, to recap, optimizing your DNS is a powerful, multi-layered strategy for a faster website. Start by switching to a premium DNS provider to cut down your initial query time. Leverage an integrated CDN to bring DNS resolution even closer to your users. Be mindful of how many unique domains your site relies on, and consolidate resources wherever possible to reduce the total number of lookups. For the external resources you can't avoid, use DNS prefetching to perform those lookups proactively in the background. And finally, continuously monitor your DNS performance to ensure everything stays fast and reliable. By implementing these strategies, you're not just shaving off a few milliseconds. You're fundamentally improving the user's first impression of your website. You're removing that initial, frustrating delay and creating a snappier, more professional experience that keeps visitors engaged. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found these tips helpful for speeding up your own sites. If you have any questions or your own favorite DNS tips, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into web performance. See you in the next one.